So, in one video, I recall mentioning that Record of Ragnarok and Chainsaw Man would be getting anime adaptations. Currently, Jujutsu Kaisen is now what is being talked about, while Record of Ragnarok and Chainsaw Man recently got greenlit for an anime adaptation, and I pray for those to not suck. Well, while Record of Ragnarok may be a total failure, there's still plenty of hope with Chainsaw Man and its anime adaptation. By the time I'm writing the script for this video, the trailer for the Chainsaw Man anime adaptation just dropped about a week ago, and the internet as a whole was hype. And why wouldn't it be? It's goddamn Mappa, the people behind the anime adaptation for Jujutsu Kaisen. And I'll say this right now, that the trailer looks like it's for a goddamn movie. However, I will keep a reasonable amount of doubt. I don't want this to suck, however, I'll hold further judgments until the anime actually drops. Imagine that the trailer was just a bait and switch and it actually sucks. I know that's like a sinful thing to say, but hey, after Record of Ragnarok, my faith in humanity is sort of low right now. I'm sorry, but that anime was not allowed to suck. But hey, whether or not the adaptation turns out to be good or bad, it doesn't detract from the original source material created by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Tatsuki Fujimoto is a Japanese manga artist that is well known for his works Fire Punch and the aforementioned Chainsaw Man. However, outside of these two, he has worked on a whole lot of one-shots in between, and I won't go into all of them, just know that Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man are the two that he's most known for. And you guys already know how it goes. I'm going to be looking at his inked work, then his colored work, and just talk about his style and things that I notice. A long time ago, before Chainsaw Man was even published, I caught wind of Fire Punch when it was still relatively new. However, I could not get into it because of how much the line work bothered the hell out of me. And the story was pretty bananas too, but that's another discussion. Back then, I was indoctrinated with the absurd idea that super clean line art was the sign of expertise and professionalism. With that being said, I do deeply regret that line of thought now, especially considering how much I resonate with a more loose, messy, scratchy style of line art. And that pretty much sums up Fujimoto's style. By all means, you can just look at any panel in any piece of work that he's done and it's very apparent. This isn't Ishida Sui, it's not Takaki Tsuyoshi, and it's not even like Togashi. This is its own type of beast. The line strokes seem to have no confidence in them, lines intersect, and there are tangents all over the place, and he does have these sweeping strokes for individual strands of hair. However, despite him breaking these quote-unquote rules in terms of inking, it all just works. It has a charm about it. Besides, when people are reading a manga, I highly doubt anyone's really looking deeply into each and every panel, unless you're a weird artist like me that likes to overanalyze everything. It's like analyzing the in-betweens of an animation. Like, the average consumer isn't dissecting an animation frame by frame. Now that's excessive. I'm only mentioning his style of line art mainly due to the fact that I feel that it's an integral part of his overall style. It may not be for everyone, but this aspect is what makes his style, well, his style. And I've definitely grown to love it myself. Continuing on from that, it is not to say that his art lacks any sort of details. On the contrary, his splash pages are filled with them. Fire Punch, for example, takes place in a dystopian world where people are gifted with these supernatural abilities, and our main character is perpetually on fire. Therefore, he sort of leaves destruction everywhere he goes. And in turn, I would say his scratchy style is actually perfect for drawing debris and rubble everywhere, since in that sense, you would want to make a messy sort of vibe. It also helps in the more bloody and action-heavy scenes in Chainsaw Man, since sometimes things are literally flying all over the goddamn place. Alternatively, he can also create much more cleaner and down-to-earth environments, and sometimes Fujimoto will keep dialogue to a minimum or remove it entirely just so you can really immerse yourself in the world. Sometimes, dare I say, to a disturbing extent. And this leads me to talking about his wordless storytelling. Now, with or without context, I think most of us would get an eerie feeling to say the least when looking at this piece. Like, what is going on? The same goes for these two pages as well. However, unlike the previous one I showed you, there's nothing obviously dark happening, but I still feel it's unsettling. Sort of like liminal spaces. I won't give you the context of these scenes, just say that these are very jaw-dropping moments. Just the empty space and how the panel is framed, like, this seems a bit too empty, like, what's gonna happen? I would extend this wordless storytelling to the fight scenes he draws as well. He makes them very dynamic and will even go on for a couple of pages with no dialogue whatsoever, and sometimes he plays with the panel layout to add more dynamicism. Even some non-combative scenes will have the characters just act with no dialogue, and it flows very well. I didn't mention this in the previous section, mainly because I forgot to write it, but I'm 90% sure that he's a digital artist. It would make sense, especially with the type of inking style he has. With that being said, as a digital artist, he has all colors at his fingertips. Usually, I don't recommend this way of coloring unless you really know your stuff and how to make it work. Hell, sometimes he has multiple colors all having relatively the same amount of saturation, but Fujimoto does, indeed, make it work. He can have a more tamer painting style like in this piece, in which things will have varying saturations and values, or he'll limit his color palette like in this piece, in which I always recommend you guys do, because I know people can get very carried away with digital painting and just put all the colors on the color wheel. A good example of limiting your color palette is in this piece, in which it's only using different shades of an orange-brown color, which is the main color, and a very slight cool tone on Paris jacket, which makes sense since orange and blue are on opposite sides of the color wheel. If we have access to all oranges, we need to then be very limited in the blues we use in this piece. I also like how his painting style complements his inking style. While it can be considered a bit messy, it meshes well with the line art. I also consider it to be somewhat painterly in how he will sometimes render things out without using any lines. You can really see this in the volume colors for Fire Punch, and if you guys know me very well and how I paint, you'll already know that I adore this style of painting. Some may call it unrefined, I call it liberating. Overall, I'm really glad I gave Fujimoto another chance. I don't know what I was smoking when I thought his style was amateurish or even unrefined when I was younger. Now with a better skill in analyzing art, having a more concrete idea of what my art style is and what I want it to be, I can see the charm his line art has intrinsically. Yes, at times, I'm not gonna lie, it can be seen as scribbles, and it may throw some people off. However, I implore that you take a step back and see it as a whole. Or maybe, I'm just losing my mind and no one else has this problem. If you want to show some support, you can always get the volumes of Fire Punch or Chainsaw Man if you want. I checked around and he does have a Twitter. And unfortunately, I don't think he has any art books at the moment, which is a damn shame because his artwork is amazing. But I do get the feeling that he is going to have one day, and when it does release, I'm already gonna be on it. Hello YouTube, what is good? Yep, I did Tatsuki Fujimoto this time. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, when I saw that Chainsaw Man trailer, I knew that I had to get on this video right away. People are already guessing that this is going to be anime of the year for whatever year this decides to air, which is another thing I sort of want to just address very briefly, and that is Studio Mappa. Apparently they are going through some terrible work conditions as well as low pay, which is absolutely disgusting. Like, they honestly deserve some rest time. Didn't they just finish Jujutsu Kaisen or something? And they're already dropping a trailer for Chainsaw Man. Like, honestly, these guys just don't have to release this anime anytime soon. They don't. I want them to rest, and I want them to take their time, and I need them to get paid accordingly. It hurts my soul when any type of artist is not getting properly compensated for the art they make, anime included, obviously. Anyway, that was just my 2 cents about that. I'm seeing more suggestions on artists that I should look at in the future, and don't worry, I'm adding them to the list, and I do apologize if I'm not responding to all comments at the moment. I'm sort of busy in the real world, while at the same time I'm making time to work on YouTube and personal art, so please bear with me for a while. Just know that I see you guys. I hope this episode of Artist Analysis wasn't too much of a shill, since I wanted to jump on the oh snap, Chainsaw Man anime trailer just dropped, and I sort of wanted to ride that slight wave of this hype for Chainsaw Man, but yeah, I'll do what I need to appease the algorithm the best way I know I can. So yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and comment if you want, and please do subscribe if you feel the need to, and also you should subscribe if you want to just see more art videos like this or just me drawing in the future. Thank you guys for watching and getting to the end of the video if you have, and I'll see you in the next one.